Havana syndrome attacks solved. Havana syndrome attacks are side effects caused by a modified pulse spoof GPS microwave signal L1 1575. 42 MHz combined with a digital phase locked loop used for satellite GPS spoofing surveillance. This is why our government can't seem to figure out what is causing Havana syndrome attacks, because they don't want the public to know what can be done with modifications made to an L1 1575. 42 MHz microwave signal. My family and I are being tortured for what I know about Havana syndrome attacks. It took me 10 years to figure out this satellite surveillance torturing system. My family and I have been tortured for 12 years. We have gone to doctors, local police, FCC, FBI, CIA, anyone we thought could help us, and we are still being tortured, even though all of my findings can be proven to be factually true. Keep in mind this whole system works by saturation of targeted area. Target is saturated with a microwave, radio frequency, electromagnetic phase locked loop. Hey, isn't this what everyone believes Havana syndrome attacks are? All of this can be fact-checked to be correct. Havana syndrome attacks are side effects from being saturated with a modified direct microwave L1 1575. 42 MHz spoof GPS carrier signal, modified with a digital phase locked loop made up of 3 parts. 1. Phase comparator. 2. Loop filter. 3. Voltage control oscillator. These modified spoofed microwave GPS carrier signals are produced, combined, sent, and received with a GNSS/GPS simulator generator and GNSS/GPS transceiver digital antenna able to send and receive radio frequencies and digital/binary code information. This is ultimately the targeting unit for this whole system using GNSS/GPS global tracking and digital phase locked loop locking. Can even perform phase synchronization and locking onto law enforcement agencies' transceivers. Do I have your attention yet? A digital phase locked loop is able to phase synchronize and lock onto a wireless electronics phase or transceiver phase for monitoring and hacking of wireless electronics. The voltage control oscillator from the digital phase locked loop works with the carrier signal from L1 1575. 42 MHz, turning audio from within saturated area into an amplitude modulated AM radio signal able to be picked up by any nearby digital software defined radio DSDR, or sent back to the GNSS/GPS simulator generator for demodulation playback. Now saturation from this system is used to create targeting and surveillance, but prolonged saturation causes electromagnetic hypersensitivity syndrome. The symptoms most commonly reported include headaches, body pain, lethargy, tinnitus, ringing in the ear, nausea, burning sensation, heart arrhythmia, and anxiety. This system also causes microwave auditory effect, hearing/fray effect. This causes swelling of the cochlea and temporal lobe, enabling target/mammals/humans within saturated air to hear electromagnetic waves and radio frequencies and whatever is being carried on those radio frequencies, making target think they are insane, hearing voices/music/audio that would never be heard without the use of wireless communication electronics. The hearing of microwave pulses is a unique exception to the airborne or bone-conducted sound energy normally encountered in human auditory perception. The hearing apparatus commonly responds to airborne or bone-conducted acoustic or sound pressure waves in the audible frequency range. But the hearing of microwave pulses involves electromagnetic waves whose frequency ranges from hundreds of megahertz, 200 megahertz to 3 to 6 gigahertz to be exact. A spoof GPS L1 1575. 42 MHz is well within the range for microwave auditory effect hearing. GPS spoofing is what is causing all of the side effects/ailments/cricket from Havana syndrome attacks. Since electromagnetic waves e.g. light are seen but not heard, the report of auditory perception of microwave pulses was at once astonishing and intriguing. Moreover, it stood in sharp contrast to the responses associated with continuous wave microwave radiation. Experimental and theoretical studies have shown that the microwave auditory phenomenon does not arise from an interaction of microwave pulses directly with the auditory nerves or neurons along the auditory neurophysiological pathways of the central nervous system. Instead, the microwave pulse, upon absorption by soft tissues in the head, launches a thermoelastic wave of acoustic pressure that travels by bone conduction to the inner ear. There, it activates the cochlear receptors via the same process involved for normal hearing. Aside from tissue heating, microwave auditory effect is the most widely accepted biological effect of microwave radiation with a known mechanism of interaction, the thermoelastic theory. A specific emphasis is placed on human exposures to wireless communication fields. This is why when first responders show up and do not hear anything, it is because their bodies have not had time to absorb the microwave radiation produced by the spoof GPS L1 1575. 42 MHz saturated area. A person must be saturated for a period of time with a modified spoofed GPS microwave L1 1575, 42 MHz carrier signal. Parts of this taken from WebMD. Ways to detect a Havana syndrome attack/saturation from modified direct microwave L1 1575, 42 MHz spoofed GPS carrier signal. This spoofed GNSS/GPS can be manipulated live because they are produced with a GNSS/GPS simulator generator, which is basically a GNSS/GPS radio frequency producing and manipulation, transportation, and receiving of radio frequencies computer that can generate radio frequencies/radio signals carrier waves/carrier signal live. They can carry many forms of information back and forth from target to terrorists because they are combined with a digital phase lock loop. This allows this system to create a digital electromagnetic loop to modulate record and demodulate playback onto carrier signal/carrier wave live. Because this is a direct spoofed GNSS/GPS signal, it is much stronger than the signal we get from our wireless electronics. Saturation of the direct GNSS/GPS simulator generated carrier wave/carrier signal, causing GPS spoofing, which is interference or taking over the target's GPS. This is how diplomats and basically anyone can tell immediately if they are under a GNSS/GPS satellite surveillance/attack system. Aka Havana syndrome attack. 1. Google search their immediate location, the address they are at right at that moment then. 2. Bring it up on Google Maps. 3. The blue location indicator will be moving independently and at times not even in the approximate location that the diplomat/target are in. This system is made up with oscillating electromagnetic waves, microwaves, and radio frequencies. Oscillating, which can be controlled with the VCO from the digital phase lock loop, produces low to moderate forms of radiation, which can be detected by a thermal camera. I have proof. Not infrared but a thermal camera. It looks like a glowing wall around targeted area. It also radiates the target's water supply, and that can be seen as well with a thermal camera. All this happens with saturation of a modified direct pulse spoofed L1 1575, 42 MHz microwave GPS carrier signal/carrier wave, used to gather surveillance, provide torture, and make target think they are insane, stopping them from reporting these attacks.